And the story we're tracking at this hour is about RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat's stern message that he sent yesterday via an article or an interview that he gave to Panchjanya. Mohan Bhagwat said that Muslims have nothing to fear for in India, but they must abandon their narrative of supremacy. He came out and said, and I quote, "Hindustan should remain Hindustan. There is no harm to Muslims living today in Bharat," he went on to say. The RSS chief further said that Muslims can either stick to their faith or return to the faith of their ancestors, and that is their choice. But politics has now erupted over the comments that were made by Mohan Bhagwat in that particular interview. Opposition leaders now latching onto it, questioning the kind of claims that have been made by Mohan Bhagwat. AIMIM chief Assuddin Owaisi even going on to slam the RSS chief for his advice to Muslims. He goes on to say that Muslims will not adjust their faith to please a bunch of alleged celibates in Nagpur. That's the comment that has come to the fore from Assuddin Owaisi. Listen in to other opposition parties reacting as well.
In an interview, Mohan Bhagwat, the RSS chief, has basically said that Muslims don't need to abandon India. They can continue to live in India, but their narrative of the supremacy, that they are the ones who rule the country, or they are right and the others are wrong, such supremacy should in fact be avoided, and they can continue to live in the country. How does you and the party sees this statement?
RSS and particularly Mr. Mohan Bhagwat divide India into religious lines. Here is another example. We have been telling about it. Bharat Jodo Yatra of Mr. Rahul Gandhi is on this division which they wanted to make it in India. The supremacy is not the religious or anybody. The supremacy, every Indian has a supremacy in India. It is our India. Every Indian has to be respected, and every constitution provides that basic right for each Indian to be respected, and he has the supremacy. But RSS wants to play this division, and this people will reject it. RSS continuous divide and rule policy of Britishers, which they are transferred to RSS, they are continuing it after 70 years also.
दुष्यंत जी, जो आरएसएस चीफ मोहन भागवत का ये इंटरव्यू आया है, उसमें उनका ये कहना कि मुसलमानों को डरने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, लेकिन जो सुप्रीमेसी, जो श्रेष्ठता का उनके अंदर वो है, वो उन्हें छोड़ना चाहिए, छोड़ना होगा, क्या कहना चाहेंगे उसमें?
देखिए, पर पूज्य मोहन भागवत जी ने सही कहा है कि हिंदू मुस्लिम धर्म है और मुस्लिम लोग में का जितने सुरक्षित हिंदुस्तान में कहीं भी नहीं है। और धर्म को देखिए, आप पाकिस्तान में देखिए, सरेआम गोलियां मार दी जाती है, स्कूल में बच्चों को जान से मार दिया जाता है, और बांग्लादेश में देखिएगा, सभी जगह ऐसे उत्पाद हो रहे हैं, मुसलमान को मार रहा है। लेकिन हिंदुस्तान में मुसलमान की तो जनसंख्या बढ़ी है, 2% थे, आज 9-10% हो गए हैं। हिंदुस्तान में रहने वाला मुसलमान अगर अपने आप को श्रेष्ठ बताएगा तो इसका मतलब दूसरे को चुनौती दे रहा है, दूसरे उससे कम है। तो इसलिए ये विवाद ना खड़ा कर अपने जिस प्रकार से मुसलमान हिंदुस्तान में जी रहा है, मेरे ख्याल से वो उसको उपयुक्त वातावरण है उसके लिए, और उपयुक्त अपने जो जीवन में जीने के लिए आवश्यकता होती है वो सब पूर्ति हो रही है।
अमीक जी, संघ प्रमुख मोहन भागवत जी का एक बयान आया है जिसमें उन्होंने कहा है कि मुसलमानों का इस देश में स्वागत है, लेकिन उनको इस माइंडसेट से, इस विचार से ऊपर उठना पड़ेगा कि हमने इस मुल्क के ऊपर शासन किया है, हम एक सुपीरियर कौम है। अगर वो ये माइंडसेट छोड़ देते हैं तो उनका इस मुल्क में स्वागत है, ये मुल्क उतना ही उनका है जितना कि हिंदुओं का है। इस बयान को आप किस नज़र से देखते हैं? आपकी पार्टी समाजवादी पार्टी की इसके पर क्या प्रतिक्रिया है?
डॉक्टर मोहन भागवत जी, हमको तो ये लगता है कि सठिया गए। हमारे देश में धर्म के नाम पे मुसलमानों ने इस मुल्क को नहीं बनाया। हमारे देश में आज़ादी के ठीक बाद से हिंदू हों, मुसलमान हों, सिख हों, ईसाई हों, जो हमारा स्वतंत्रता संग्राम का स्पिरिट था उस पर हमने इस देश को खड़ा किया, और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के ज़रिए ये मुल्क चलता है। उसके अंदर सभी धर्म मज़हब के लोग मोहब्बत से रहते आए। उसका एक सबसे बड़ा जवाब ये है कि आज तक एक मुसलमानों ने नरेंद्र मोदी या जिन्ना पैदा नहीं किया। अगर मुसलमानों में कोई सुप्रीमेसिस्ट, जैसा कि आरएसएस का कैरेक्टर है, सुप्रीमेसिस्ट कास्टिस्ट जो बिहेवियर है, मुसलमानों ने एक भी जिन्ना या नरेंद्र मोदी पैदा नहीं किया। ये दिखाता है कि भारत के मुसलमान हमारे इस देश की सेकुलर नेताओं को ही अपना मुख्यमंत्री, प्रधानमंत्री बनाते रहें, मानते रहें, वोट देते रहें। तो डॉक्टर मोहन भागवत जी इस बयान के ज़रिए जो मुसलमानों का देश प्रेम है वो उसको कंटिन्यू संदिग्ध करने के लिए ये आरएसएस के बयान आते रहे। नया बयान नहीं है ये, हिंदू एग्रेसिव होने की बात नहीं है, हिंदू तो डिप्रेसिव हो गया इनकी सरकार में। आप 2014 से लेकर 2024 तक का जो रिजीम ये पहुंचने वाला है, आप सोचिए कि 83 करोड़ लोग भारत सरकार के राशन पे गुजर बसर करने पर मजबूर हैं।
पिछले लगभग 2000 वर्षों में जिस प्रकार से कुछ लोग आए विदेशों से और उन्होंने जब ये कहना शुरू किया कि एक किताब, एक मसीहा, एक अल्लाह, एक गॉड, यही सुप्रीम है, और आज भी एक मान्यता, चाहे विदेशी प्रायोजित हो या भारत के कुछ कट्टरपंथी लोग अपनी राजनीतिक रोटियां सेकने के लिए कहते हो कि मेरा मजहब ही सही है, बाकी को इसे स्वीकार करना ही पड़ेगा। ये जो साम्राज्यवादी सोच है, ये जो सुप्रीमेसी वाली थिंकिंग है, इससे प्रत्येक भारतीय को बाहर निकलना पड़ेगा। कम से कम भारत में ये सब चीज स्वीकार नहीं है। और इस्लाम और ईसाइयत को मानने वाले वो लोग, उनको भी ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा कि उनके नेतृत्व में कट्टरपंथ हावी न हो।
I don't want to comment much of their agenda is to divide people, our agenda is to unite people. I don't want to comment much of their agenda is to divide people, our agenda is to unite people.
Siddhant, my colleague, now joins us for more on this. Siddhant, we've seen the kind of comments that have come to the fore from the opposition, and every time Mohan Bhagwat says anything to this extent, in the last several months, in the last 1 or 2 years, we've seen several such outreach attempts that the RSS chief has made. He's met with scholars from the Muslim community on multiple occasions as well, and he's said that there is an atmosphere of fear-mongering that is prevalent in this country. The Muslims in this country do not need to worry about anything, and that's the message that he has sent out yet again. And still, we have all of the opposition uniting to question the intent of the comment that's made.
Well, absolutely, Poonam. Look, there are multiple perspectives to look at this one interview of Mohan Bhagwat, and opposition parties in India are taking this interview as a fodder to attack right-wing ideology and to attack Mohan Bhagwat and RSS. And this is perhaps the reason that Manoj Jha is calling it nothing but a dog whistle politics. He is also calling it a card stacking politics. Then the other senior leaders from the various other political parties have to say that that this is nothing, but this is not the real character of RSS. The real character is something else from what Mohan Bhagwat is telling in an interview. But the fact is, Poonam, that this is a original character of RSS. It is because of this lobby, this cabal which is active in a country, those who have been raising question on RSS and right-wing approach existing in a country, and this is perhaps the reason that time and again, through speeches, through media interactions, through interviews, RSS chief and the other senior member from the RSS and people belonging to this ideology has to come out and prove before the people of this country the real character of the RSS. And when I asked this question to them, that this is perhaps the first time that any cultural organization, religious cultural organization in India has come out openly in support of LGBTQ. No other religious cultural organization has done this ever in India before. A. B. When I questioned them that when Mr. Bhagwat talks about narrative supremacy, the supremacy of one religion, then he is referring to those who worship Tipu Sultan. He is referring to those who worship Aurangzeb. He's referring to those who go to the mazars of Aurangzeb, to which opposition parties have to say that there are moments of comfort and discomfort in history of any nation, any word, and we all have accepted it. And there is no such narrative of supremacy existing in the country. So this is what opposition party has to say on this entire interview, which has been published in the organizer. Back to you.
Right, Siddhant. Thank you so much for getting us the latest on that political fight. The war was only escalating with each passing minute. And joining me on this broadcast is political analyst Syed Asad Abbas and lawyer and political analyst Deshratan Nigam as well. And Syed Asad Abbas, I would like to begin by asking you. Asaduddin Owaisi has put out a thread of tweets of questioning Mohan Bhagwat, reiterating why what he has said is wrong. He also goes on to say in one of his tweets that it's not just Muslims and their boisterous supremacy. There are many Hindu supremacists as well. So are we looking at a tit-for-tat sort of response here? Because if you read carefully what Mohan Bhagwat has said, he says, be it Hindu, be it communist, be it anybody, we can't have this claim of we are an exalted race and we are higher than the other, and then you can't live together. But has that portion been conveniently been ignored by many in the opposition?
I think, firstly, I believe that Mr. Mohan Bhagwat is entitled to his opinion, and so
I believe we've lost that line now. We'll try and reconnect with Mr. Abbas, but Deshratan Nigam continues to be with us. And Deshratan Nigam, is it opposition just for the sake of opposition? Because we've seen multiple times such assurances, appeals have come from Mohan Bhagwat in the recent past. And every time, the kind of reaction that we see from the opposition is that this is just mere lip service. This is just something that the RSS says, but the BJP will never walk that talk.
Yes, Poonam, in fact, if you look at the entire interview that he gave to Panchjanya and organizer, you would see he talked on many topics, which from politics, economy, LGBTQ rights, as well as the supremacy attitude that some sections of the society, this country has. And it is an international and universal fact that the religion based on books have always claimed that they are the best and others are inferior. All crusades in the past took place on the very same philosophy. And how do you tell a Christian that a Muslim is better than you, or a Muslim to a Christian that a Christian is better than you? So that conflict has always been there, and then conflict is also a cause of terrorism and extremism in the world. And the people are realizing, and that is what exactly Mohan Bhagwat ji clearly pointed out. And at the same time, if you look at, he says there are people who still believe that they are superior to other religions. And that's a fact. And Hindu's reaction he talked about is also based on the 1,000 years of subjugation violence that was committed on them. Right. And hence, the Sanatan philosophy that we have, it believes in everybody's way or mode of worship. We have never said that you are inferior or superior. It has always been based on humanity and justice, the two core principles of our Sanatan philosophy, and that is what Mohan Bhagwat ji was talking about. And if we base our system on humanity, then nobody is superior or inferior. And that is what our constitution also says. In fact, it guarantees the superior rights to minorities in the constitution, thinking that they need to be preserved. And at the same time, if you recall that the 98%, and that's a paradox I have not been able to, synchronize with the rest of the thought of my thought, that the 98% of the Muslims who voted for Pakistan remained back in India. And at the same time, when they started going back, it was Indians who had Nehru Liaquat Pact and said, okay, wherever you are, you stay there. The countries will take care of its minorities. India did take care of its minorities. Sure. Pakistan wiped them out. So this is the basic core philosophy. Nobody is superior, nobody is inferior. And those who think, including from any sections of the society, that they are superior to others, have to give up their thought. And let Hindustan remain Hindustan, he said. And therefore, which means that everybody is allowed to coexist. Nation is first, nation is supreme.
Sure. And that's the message that perhaps Mohan Bhagwat is also trying to send, Syed Asad Abbas. And like you was pointing out before that line got disconnected, is that everyone has the right to say what's on their mind. That's what we celebrate in a country like ours, a democratic country like ours. But why then come out and say that this is nothing but a dog whistle? Because when the RSS or the BJP does not say anything on certain issues, you say, look, they're silent. When they do come out and say something, you say, oh, but this is nothing but dog whistle. How can it be both ways?
Certainly, I think the gentleman who's mentioned about dog whistling is Mr. Manoja. I think this question should be attributed to him. Since I'm on the panel as an analyst, I will give you my perspective. And that is very simple. Like I said, Quran in its Islam always says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is Almighty Allah, is Rabbul Alameen and not just Rabbul Muslimin, meaning the Almighty God belongs to every creation in this world and not only Muslims. Also, as a matter of fact, I totally do not believe in supremacy of any religion, caste or creed. I truly believe under the aegis of one law, one world, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which is one world, one family. Now, there are politics and there are politicians who would like to fish in troubled waters. The The fact of the matter we need to understand here is that there is absolutely no exalted race or any of such reference made by Shri Mohan Bhagwat ji. I think he should read Quran not in just paragraphs but in complete. Also, as a matter of fact, it's absolutely wrong to say that Islam or Quran believes that in any form of supremacy. Absolutely not, sir. If you know the Kalma, the Furu'uddin, the Usuluddin, you will not arrive to its conclusion. Also, as a matter of fact, we need to understand that, yes, I agree with Desh Ratan Nigam Sahab that nobody is inferior or superior. Every single human being or every single citizen of this country must and should abide by its constitution. And our constitution is secular. Secular not meaning Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, aapas mein hum bhai. Secular meaning the state does not have its religion, but it allows the practice of protection of religion of every single citizen of this country. And also, as a matter of fact, we need to understand here that when Mr. Mohan Bhagwat comes out and says that there is nothing to fear, I truly believe everyone living in India has nothing to fear about. We are there as equal citizens.
Absolutely.
Everybody,
so then why come out and create this kind of atmosphere where you are resorting to fear mongering? That's also something that Mohan Bhagwat has spoken of in the past, but that too was ridiculed and mocked. I request you both gentlemen to stay on with me because reactions are pouring in thick and fast. Let's listen into some of them.
Sir, a statement has come from RSS Sarsang Chalak, Mohan Bhagwat ji, and in fact this is an interview which he has given to the organizer. Now he says that Muslims have nothing to fear in India. It's just that they should give away the narrative of supremacy which their clerics, which their leaders keep on talking about. This is what he had to say. Also, sir, I would like to ask you, is it a reformist or a progressive approach of RSS, or they want a complete image makeover? Or how do you read this one statement of Mohan Bhagwat ji for Muslim community in India?
I'll tell you very frankly, this is an in-house arrangement. He gave interview to the publication, which is their publication. So it's almost like preparing a product in-house and then trying to sell it. Let me tell you, probably Mohan Bhagwat ji doesn't have a great sense of history. His sense of history is constricted. It is not inclusive. And palatial history, history of palaces and kings and queens and badshah and sultans are not the real history of India. He should read real history. आपको लग रहा होगा, आप जैसे दो चार लोगों को लग रहा होगा, लेकिन आरएसएस को अगर परिवर्तन करना है ना अपने चाल चरित्र और चेहरे में ना, बहुत सारे डिलीट बटन दबाने होंगे. Push those delete button, then come.
As far as his assurance with regard to Muslims living fearlessly in India is concerned, we would welcome it, and we would want him to tell the government run through them at the center that they must respect the sentiments of the RSS chief, that Muslims must not be made to live under fear of the government. Today's Muslims in India are peace-loving citizens. They are respecting the Constitution of India. They are respecting the Indian people, including Hindus and people from different faith. They want to live in peace. They want to contribute in progress of the country.
Now, Deshratan Nigam, in this particular interview that Mohan Bhagwat has given to Panchajanya and to the organizer, there are several aspects that he's spoken of. He's also spoken of how the Hindu community is at war within itself. He goes on to say that finally Hindus have been awakened with the Sangh support, and it's natural for you to be aggressive if you are at war all the time. A lot of people are reading into that particular comment and saying that while you give advice to the Muslims to give up their narrative of supremacy, you are trying to provoke the Hindu community.
Well, in fact, Poonam, what Mohan Bhagwat ji clearly said that since over about 1,000 years, there had been attacks on our civilizational values, culture, and hence the awakening is taking place today in 2014 onwards, especially. And the Sangh has been there right from 1925 onwards. Sangh has been doing this awakening by creating men of very strong character in the form of Swayamsevaks who keep nation first, irrespective of the religion. We have Rashtriya Muslim Manch also, where lakhs of Muslims are working towards making this country strong. And that is the feeling that we talk about. And that aggressiveness is the assertion of the civilizational values that we have, The civilizational values are coexistence, and the nation is supreme, and our ancient values have to be preserved, which talks of humanity and justice. And this is the aggressiveness. We do not believe in the concept of somebody superior to others. We believe in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is very clear in its assertion. It deals with humanity and justice and the injustice which are committed. It does not talk about people on the basis of their mode of worship or faith. And hence, you see in the entire world, well, people like Asad Abbas have a different view, but a huge number of extremism and terrorism that the world today is facing is something